Alright, already we have already started by speaking about flowers for Algernon, and we have already mentioned approximately everything about the process. The whole idea or the whole plot around the reading comprehension arises around just one main feature, which is not feeling satisfied. So our protagonist, Charlie Jordan, he doesn't feel as a normal human being because simply he is not so smart, or he's not smart enough even to cope with his friends, those whom he thought liked him much. Consequently, he studied a lot and started attending a night school, and later he approved to be a test for an operation which will trouble his IQ. We have find ourselves now with a new struggle, which is after the operation, he became like super intelligent, yet he forgot his past self. Consequently, he started by just thinking again to the past, and he wants now to apply all his knowledge and smartness to the serve of humanity. He wants to serve all people so that anyone who doesn't have enough IQ will be able to get the operation, but of course a modified one, and later can become very smart. So we can counter progress report, I believe number 15, May 29. In May 29, he say, I have been given a lab of my own and permission to go ahead with research. I'm on something, working day and night. I have had cat moved into the lab. Most of my writing time is spent on the notes which I keep in my separate folder. But from time to time, I feel it's necessary to put down my mood and my thoughts out of sheer habit. I find the calculus of intelligence to be a fascinating study. Here is the place for application of the knowledge I have acquired. In a sense, it's a problem I have been concerned with my whole life. So, simply in the progress report of May 29th, he speaks to us about the procedures that now he started to adapt in order to continue the research of the both fine scientists, Strauss and Niemeyer. And one of the most important ideas about intelligence he found was the calculus of intelligence. It provides for him a rank of information about how to just measure the intelligence and apply it to new ideas and even new features that he can manipulate it and increase it with those who lack intelligence. And previous number on May 31st, he would speak now about Dr. Strauss thinks I'm working too hard. Dr. Niemeyer says I'm trying to cram a lifetime of research and thought into few weeks. And of course, here we need to stop. So, for Dr. Niemeyer, he said that you are just trying to get a lifetime work, a lifetime research, and in very few weeks. Of course, there's some meaning in this because simply now, after Algernon has changed and bit him and refused to continue the maze or even the puzzles, now they think that what's happening to Algernon might happen also to Charlie. So Charlie has very little time, so that he needs to finish the research as soon as possible, ASAP. I know I should rest, but I'm driven on by something inside that's won't let me stop. I have got to find the reason for the sharp regression in Algernon. I have got to know if and when it will happen to me. So, what drives him from inside is what happened to Algernon. The regression, the becoming dumb again. The operation is not working so far, so there is a bad side or a bad effect after the operation happen to Algernon. So when and if it will happen to me, if it's gonna happen to me, so I need to know the timing so that I can continue with my research for humanity. June 4, letter to Dr. Strauss, a copy. Dear Dr. Strauss, under separate cover, I am sending you a copy of my report entitled The Algernon-Jordan Effect. And here he has finished his study, and he named it after both himself and Algernon. So, the Algernon-Jordan effect, study of structure and function of increased intelligence, which I would like you to read and have published. As you see, my experiments are completed. I have included in all my report of my formula, as well as mathematical analysis and the appendix. Of course, these should be verified because of its importance to both you and Dr. Nemor, and need, I say to myself too. I have checked and rechecked my results of dozens of times in the hope of finding an error. I'm sorry to say the result must stand. Yet, for the sake of science, I am grateful for the little bit that I here add to the knowledge of the function of the human mind, and of all those governing the artificial increase of human intelligence. So, from that we come to conclude one thing, that Charlie now has already finished what he had started, which is the report about the human intelligence, and that now he is able to just perform that on human. But unfortunately, once we come counter the meaning, or the behind the meaning, the appendix behind the letter, we come counter that his days are to end as a smart genius man. I recall you once saying to me that an experimental failure or the disproving of a theory was as important to the advancement of learning as success would be. I know now that this is true. I'm sorry, however, that my own contribution to the field must rest upon the ashes of the work of two men I regarded so highly. So simply he's telling him that I have provided you with the needed knowledge to continue your research, yet unfortunately my intelligence will not last forever. Consequently, you need to carry on my research. So far, so good?
Yes, teacher.
All right.
Teacher, can you read?
Yes, Altibi?
And paragraph number 180.
Yes?
I must not become emotional. The facts and the results of my experiment are clear, and the more sensual aspects of my own rapid climb cannot obscure the fact that the tripling of intelligence by the cerebral circle technique developed by Dr. Strauss and Nemor must be viewed as having little or no practical applicability at the present time to the increase of human intelligence.
So, in paragraph number 180, he speaks to that how he shall not be emotional. Because right now, guys, put yourselves in his shoes. This person now, after being so dumb, he became super intelligent. And right now he discovered that he will not continue to be intelligent forever. So he must not become emotional. You must become sad. You must not stop working, because it's time for you to contribute in the humanity and try as much as you can to see your intelligence as benefit for the human. So he knew that the tripling of intelligent pi surgical technique developed by Dr. Strauss and Niemohr must be viewed as having little or no particular applicability at the present time to the increase of the human intelligence, meaning that this technique of yours, Dr. Strauss and Dr. Niemohr, although that it's okay, it's very good, yet it's not everlasting. So whatever you are doing right now will not last forever. Consequently, you shall alter the method and try to work on another formula, because the formula right away will not last forever. Okay? In paragraph 181, let's check. Khalid, would you like to read?
Khalid, me, teacher.
Yes.
Paragraph number 1. Number what?
181. As I reviewed.
Okay. As I review the records and data on Algernon, I see that although he is still in his physical infancy, he has regressed mentally. Motor activity is impaired. There is a general reduction of glandular activity. There is an accelerated loss of coordination.
Continue, please.
There are also strong indications of progressive amnesia, as will be seen by my report. These and other physical and mental deterioration syndromes can be predicted with statistically significant results by the application of my formula. The surgical stimulus to which we were both subjected has resulted in an intensification and acceleration of all mental processes. The unforeseen development which I have taken
the liberty of calling the Algernon-Gordon effect.
The liberty of calling the Algernon-Gordon effect is the logical extension of the entire intelligence speed up. The hypothesis here proven may be described simply in the following terms. Artificially increased intelligence deteriorates at a rate of time directly proportional to the quantity of the increase.
Alright, so simply here, unfortunately, after many study, unfortunately, he came to figure out the unforeseen truth, which is forever you are speeding the higher of your intelligence, the fall will decline. So you started first by this level of 68. Just a minute, Mohammed. Okay. And from 68, your IQ started to rise above until it tripled, became over approximately 200. You rest, and then unfortunately the unforeseen one will come again, and you will start to decline once again. So that's what his report and unfortunately his study has proven is, as far as you climb up, you will reach the summit quickly and starts to decline once again. So the operation is not meant to everlasting. Yes, Hatibi?
Teacher, this in this picture, this is what you called. This is
man, Charlie Gordon.
Yeah, Charlie. This is Charlie.
Yes, this is Charlie after discovering that his smartness will not ever last. See how sad he is, how empty, if you can look and the look of his eyes, how empty he feels inside right now. Just imagine after reaching a situation where you become a genius, after reaching the summit, after becoming so intelligent. Now you discover that at the same speed you will decline to become dumb once again. So we can see just from the look in his eyes that he's feeling sorrow. He's so sad right now, and just like a shallow. He's in a shallow, deep water, and yet he cannot swim. So sadness, actually. All right. So simply, he has discovered and proven that the artificially increased intelligence deteriorates at a rate of time directly proportional to the quantity of the increase, meaning that the more speed your intelligence will arise, the more speed it will decline. And paragraph number 185, I feel that this in itself is an important discovery, yet as long as I'm able to write, I'll continue to record my thoughts in these progress reports. It is one of my few pleasures actually right now. However, by all indications, my own mental deterioration will be very rapid. Deterioration means decay, okay? Becoming so bad. I have already begun to notice signs of emotional instability and forgetfulness, the first symptom of the burnout. In June 10th, deterioration progressing, I have become absent-minded. Algernon died 2 days ago. And here becomes a new obstacle that the same animal that had the operation he had has already passed away 2 days ago. Consequently, what might happen next? After the deterioration of my intelligence, will I die too? No one knows. This section shows my predictions were right. His brain had decreased in weight, and there was general smoothing out of circular convolutions as well as deepening and crowding of brain fissures, meaning that because you became smart, if we say that that's your brain, okay, so imagine that that's the brain. Okay, if you imagine that that's the brain. So simply once your IQ is tripled, so your brain starts to grow. But unfortunately, because of deterioration, your brain will start to lose its weight again. And by losing and decreasing in the weight, this affects everything in your body, your emotional, your IQ, and certainly your other senses. So a general smoothing out, yes?
Did they say when, like, what you call it, when his brain will decrease and like, or IQ decrease?
Yes, Muhammad.
When?
Both of them, Muhammad. Charlie, and first it happened with Algernon, and now it's happening to Charlie.
No, I mean, when will it happen?
When? Okay, it's actually in an equation with the speed of getting smarter. So the more you get smart, the more your brain starts to decline.
Okay. Like, for example, if you get smart like in 2 years, and then 2 years you'll get again.
Well,
What it's
actually, it
called.
happens faster, even faster, when your brain starts to decline. Because right now, your brain weighs approximately 1 kilogram. Okay, that's our brain. Approximately an adult, his brain approximately weighs around 1 kilo. Now, in this operation, I am now giving your cells, okay, inside your mind the ability to grow. And by growing, it will come, let's say, 1.5 kilo. Okay? So now in 2 years, okay, it of course happens in 2 months in the story. But as you said, let's imagine that in 2 years your plane became from just 1 kilo into 1.5 kilograms. Okay, so the deterioration will happen and it will become 800 grams. It will not go back to become 1 kilo. No. Once deterioration happens, and it will not happen in 2 years, but in 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, you will lose approximately half of your brain. And by that deterioration, it doesn't just affect your intelligence, but the rest of your body too. Okay, Muhammad, got the idea?
Okay.
Okay. So once again, so his body started to decrease in weight, that's for Algernon, and generally smoothing out of circular convolutions as well as the deepening and prodding of brain fissures, meaning that the liquids inside the brain, the cells inside the brain, and everything started to be affected. I guess the same thing is right now or will soon be happening to me. So me and Algernon, both of us had the same operation. Consequently, both of us will suffer from the same consequences. Now it is defined. Unfortunately, I don't want it to happen. Really. See, guys, after becoming so intelligent, after starting to read, to love, to grow emotions, all of this, all of this is gonna be gone. Nothing is gonna be but the old dumb Charlie. I really don't want it to happen, guys. So of course, it's very sad. I put Algernon's body in the cheese box and I buried him in the yard, and then I cried. Why would he cry? Of course, he's not crying for himself only, but he cries now for both Algernon and himself. Okay, guys? So he cries once he buried Algernon. He cries for both Algernon and himself because he now was certain that this will be his final rest. He will also be buried just like Algernon, and that's a strange. So far, so good.
Yes, teacher.
Any question, guys?
No.
Okay. So in June 15, Dr. Strauss came to see me again. I wouldn't open the door and I told him to go away. I wanted to be left to myself, to enjoy the rest, of course, of what I have right now. I have become touchy and irritable. I feel the darkness closing in. I keep telling myself how important this introspective journal will be. It's a strange sensation to pick up a book that you have read and enjoyed just a few months ago and discover that you don't remember it. I remembered how great I thought John Mellon, but when I pick up Paradise Lost, I couldn't understand it at all. I got so angry I threw the book across the room. I have got to try. I really have got to try to hold on to some of it, some of the things I have learned. Oh God, please don't take it away. So of course we can counter here the agony of the protagonist, how really he felt the sensation of sadness, of sorrow, of shallowness, of loneliness, everything. After reaching the summit, you're just declining as much twice the speed you have ascended. So descending right now will be so hard to be poured by him. Sometimes at night I got out for a walk. Last night I couldn't even remember where I lived. A policeman took me home. I have the strange feeling that this has all happened to me before, a long time ago, before I had the operation, of course. I keep telling myself I'm the only person in the world who can describe what's happening to me. Because right now he has the ability to manipulate the research, and he also has everything from being dumb and being so smart. Yet his brain starts to deteriorate right now. In June 21st, why couldn't I remember? I've got to fight. I lie in my bed for days and I don't know where or who I am. Then it all comes back to me in a flash, just like that. Fugues of amnesia, symptoms of sensibility, seconds of childhood. I can watch them coming on. It's so cruelly logical. I learned so much and so fast. Now my mind is deteriorating rapidly. I won't let it happen. I'll fight it. I'll try my best. I can't help thinking of the body or the boy in the restaurant, the panic impression, the silly smile, the people laughing at him. No, no, please, not again. So, of course, in this paragraph, he just tries to tell us about his own imagination, his thoughts. What is he thinking about right now? Now he has reached to become very intelligent and feeling as normal as the other people. Yet, right now, the scene from the diner starts to come back to him. All the people are laughing at the boy once he uh, crashed the plates and just scattered them on the ground, and everyone was laughing at him. And now he just know that he will become in this boy's situation very, very soon. So no, please God, do not do that to me again. I'm forgetting things that I learned recently. It seems to be following the classic pattern. The last things learned are the first things forgotten. Or is that the pattern? I'd better look it up again. I reread my paper on the Algernon Jordan effect, and I got the strange feeling that it was written by someone else. There are parts I do not even understand. Motor activity impaired, I keep tripling over things, and it becomes increasingly difficult to type. I have given up using the typewriter completely. My coordination is bad, and I feel that I'm moving slower and slower. Had a terrible shock today. I picked up a copy of an article I used in my research. Kruger's upper psychiatric by Gansett to see if it would help me understand what I had done. First, I thought there was something wrong with my eyes. Then I realized I could no longer read German. I tested myself in other languages. All gone. So all the language he has already learned, just like that, he forgot them. Only 4 pages to go. In June 13th, a week since I dared to write again, it slipped away like sand through my fingers. Most of the book I have are too hard for me now. I get angry with them because I know that I really don't understand them just a few weeks ago. Yet right now, I completely cannot. I keep telling myself I must keep writing these reports so that somebody will know what is happening to me. But it gets harder to form the words and remember spellings. I have to look up even simple words in the dictionary now, and it makes me impatient with myself. Dr. Strauss comes around almost every day, but I told him I wouldn't see or speak to anybody. He feels guilty. They all do. unfortunately. But I don't blame anyone. I knew what might be happening, but how it hurts. That's the problem. I don't know where the week went. Today is Sunday, and the first spelling mistake since too long. Of course, here we need to add an apostrophe. Today is Sunday, I know, because I can see through my window people going to the church. I think I stayed in bed all week, but supposed to be a comma. I remember Mrs. Lyon bringing food to me a few times. I keep saying over and over, I've got to do something, but then I forget, or maybe it's just easier not to do what I'm saying I'm going to do. So simply starts now to forget punctuation and writing and even the spelling itself. I think of my mother and father a lot these days. I found a picture of them taken with me taken at the beach. My father has a big pole under his arm, and my mother is holding me by the hand. I don't remember them the way they are in the picture. All I remember is my father arguing with mother about money, nothing else. He never shaved much, and he used to scratch my face when he hugged me. He said that he was going to take me to see cows on the farm once, but he never did. He never kept his promises. So, after he was thinking about theories, about intelligence, how to contribute in the knowledge, now everything has gone, and he's just thinking about the past. That's called homesickness, or the sickness for the past events. On July 10th, my landlady, Mrs. Klein, is very worried about me. She said that she doesn't like loafers. Hmm. If I'm sick, it's one thing, but if I'm a loafer, that's another thing. And she won't have it. I told her I think I'm sick. I try to read a little bit every day, mostly stories, but sometimes I have to read the same thing over and over again because I don't know what it means, and it is hard to write. I know I should look up all the words in the dictionary, but it is so hard. I'm so tired all the time. Then I got the idea that I would only use the easy words instead of the long, hard ones. That saves time. I put flowers on Algernon's grave. Of course, here there is an apostrophe. About once a week, Mrs. Lyon thinks I'm crazy to put flowers on a mouse grave, but I told her that Algernon was special, and of course, special is not correct. So, and that's from where the whole idea of the title of our comprehension came. So, because now he puts a flower on Algernon's grave, he would ask us later to just put flowers on his grave, and that's flowers for Algernon. The rest of the decline will be discussed tomorrow because unfortunately the session is over. Any questions so far? Rest in peace, Algernon, indeed. Any questions so far, grade 8? Okay, I believe it's time for you to join the next class and see you tomorrow.